So I first met Christiana Figueres in 1994 uh, in a meeting around the visit of her brother, Jose Maria, recently elected as president of Costa Rica, on basically a platform around sustainability. And the day of or the day after his inauguration, he had a public event in which his entire cabinet was asked to one by one explain how they were going to contribute to this goal of sustainability. And the idea that Christiana suggested was a repeat of that event in Washington, D.C. And we, in fact, did that in the Natural History Museum. And it, to this day, is considered one of the most impactful environmental events that the museum has ever held. So that was just the beginning. And as anybody knows Christiana and her energy and her commitment to the environment, uh, there's always something new and ever more important on the horizon. So, you know, the world probably has heard about Christiana most with respect to when she was head of the climate convention and helped broker the Paris Climate Agreement, an incredible achievement, and one that is just a beginning. And Christiana knows that. And so she has been committed ever since then to making an ever bigger difference. And so who knows what Christiana will find in the way of levers to pull for a better future for humanity and the rest of life on Earth. But you can expect there will be several of these going forward. So this Lifetime Achievement Award is recognizing not only all the things that Christiana has managed to do to date, essentially a lifetime's worth, but also all that she will bring to humanity and a better future for the planet and the rest of life on Earth. Congratulations, Christiana.
Thank you so much, Tom, for that generous introduction. Our decades-long friendship is a personal treasure for me, as well as a constant inspiration. Every time I face something that needs to be improved, which is actually quite often, I reach for your very famous question. What creative damage can we do here? Thank you, Tom, for so much creative damage you have done to make this world a better place. And could I also pay my respect and express my deep gratitude to the National Council, now Global Council for Science and the Environment, and to all of its members for holding the illuminating torch of science as the basis of policy during long nights of fake news and fake science. And of course, it is an honor to share this virtual stage and prize with Dr. Warren Washington, pioneering meteorologist and leading climate change modeler. Friends, on the occasion last year of the 30th anniversary of the NCSE, Tom Richard, one of your board members, stated, "In a world undergoing rapid change, science provides an anchor, a rudder, and a sail. An anchor to hold us fast to evidence despite the storms, a rudder to set the course, and a sail to carry us forward to a sustainable future for us all." I love this quote and would like to expand on it with you here today. An anchor for the storms. In case you had not noticed, there have been many political storms against science in the past few years. In fact, I remember in my first March for Science in Washington, D.C., seeing an older gentleman walk toward me, alone, slowly, carrying a banner that said, "Things are so bad that even us introverts had to come out." For a while there, I was concerned about the attacks against science, not just climate change science, but science of all areas of human endeavor. But soon I moved from concern to confidence and gratitude as I witnessed the resilience of so many scientists, not only the introverts, who courageously stood firm, sometimes at huge personal cost, and were then echoed by millions of people around the world. Science held up to the anti-science rhetoric and provided certainty in a period of profound uncertainty, proving that science can be denied but not avoided. A rudder to set the course. Nowhere has the rudder of science been as evident to me as it was during the evolution and negotiation of the Paris Agreement terms. I shudder to imagine what we would have done without the guidance of science to steer the multi-year-long efforts to draft and continuously redraft the emerging agreement. On the basis of all previous work and culminating with the fifth assessment report of 2014, the IPCC did an extraordinary job in setting the rudder and the guardrails between which we had to move as we sought to build first consensus and then the unanimity that was achieved in 2015. I will admit that it was not easy at the start, but the understanding of both the already visible impacts of climate change, as well as of the dire consequences of non-action, slowly but surely pervaded the negotiation process and was key to achieving the agreed framework for global decarbonization. A sail to carry us forward. The granularity of science is continually progressing and has done so since 2015. Thanks to science, today, we understand the marked difference between a world that goes to 2 degrees and a world that goes to 1.5 degrees, both from an ecosystem and biodiversity perspective as well as from a human existence perspective. Today, we understand not only the importance of the long-term target of carbon neutrality by 2050, but also the critical nature of the short-term target of halving global emissions by 2030. Addressing climate change has been urgent for decades, but today we understand that urgency to be life-defining. Friends, we have entered into the most decisive decade in the history of humankind. Collectively, we are now determining whether the history of the Anthropocene will be one of destruction, scarcity, and collapse, or whether it will be one of an alarming start, for sure, but then a pivoting toward regeneration, abundance, and well-being. I say this as though there were 2 options, but actually, as responsible adults, as stewards of present and future generations, we have only one path open to us. And so here we are, with a historically unprecedented responsibility on our shoulders, and with the scientifically unprecedented opportunity to choose carefully but decisively, thoughtfully but urgently, to veer off the current trajectory onto a new path, which we co-create. This co-creation starts with a mindset that understands that we are not apart from nature, but an integral part of nature. It starts with the integration of human and environmental systems in science, in policy, and certainly in practice. It starts with all of us visualizing not only the horrors we could descend into, but more importantly, fervently envisioning the well-being we can and must rise to. I count on all of you to continue to shine the torch of science on research, yes, but also on the actions we must all take to collectively advance on planetary responsibility. Together with Tom Lovejoy, we must all constantly ask ourselves, what more creative damage to the status quo can we do in order to make this a better world? Armed with the power of our enlightened vision, we must, we can, and we will be responsible humans. Thank you very much.